Hello, College of the Desert yoga students. Hello. I've got 2 blocks and a strap nearby for our lecture, our little guided discussion and practice together. The birds are singing, and what a beautiful opportunity to connect and share with you. Today, we're going to talk about standing postures, which are often referred to in the grounding sequence of our set sequence. Standing postures are an integral part, the heart often, of a yoga practice. We don't want to rush through them and get to the more challenging arm balances. We want to cherish the standing postures. We want to practice them with mindfulness. And part of the reasons why is because there are so many benefits. The back, the knees, the neck, the shoulders all gain strength, flexibility, and mobility. When we're grounding, we're touching upon balance as well. Often you will find that all of these yoga postures are connected. There's cues and there's principles that we can apply mindfully as the body and mind move together and move as one. So let's get started. Here we are in the center of the mat. I will mirror you as we do these together as we face each other here. So we're in the center of the mat, rooting through Pada Bandha, awakening those intrinsic muscles of the feet, spreading those toes, actively engaging those legs. Here we are in Tadasana. Hands up by the chest, elbows up. Adding a little hop, a little integrity to our postures. Here we find our 5-point star. We press outer edges of the feet, we root under the big toe mounds. This is often referred to as Parasarita Stance. Hands by the lower back, elbows towards one another, and we broaden the chest. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we begin to come forward. Hands directly under the shoulders, a little concave back as we gaze forward and down. Continuing to awaken the arches of our feet as we root through the big toe mound and pressing outer edges of the feet. Breathing into those hamstrings. Beginning students can often bend their knees here as they're maybe struggling and learning and working on hamstring flexibility. Within time, we draw those hands back towards those heels and work on drawing the head towards the ground or through the legs as we breathe into those hamstrings. Breathe into the inner groin and the release of the back side of the body. We'll stay here several breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. As we transition, hands to the hips, belly button to the spine. Inhale, root and rise as we press through the ground with the feet. Beautiful. Adjusting your left foot and pointing it straight ahead, 90 degrees. That left leg is rotating inside out and that left knee is pointed straight ahead. We're drawing that back right foot in 15 degrees. Often we feel that front hip coming back and that back hip coming up. If you want to place those hands on the hips and feel that, beautiful. Inhale, we draw length as we move to a little lateral exploration. Inhale, we reach towards the fence here, and we're drawing the left hand to the shin here, and we're keeping the shoulder over the other shoulder. We're not slumping forward. Eventually, we're going to come to the outside of the foot and possibly utilize a block outside the foot. Shoulder over the shoulder, top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Beautiful. Expanding across the heart center. If the neck does not bother you, we're going to gaze up. Good. Continue to root through the four corners of the front foot and press through the outer edge of the back foot, expanding the heart. Beautiful Utthita Trikonasana. Shoulder blades are stacked on top of one another, rooted against the back ribs. On the transition, we're going to inhale, create length, and rise. Beautiful. Coming back to Parasarita Stance, cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Adjusting this right foot, pointing at 90 degrees, drawing that back foot in 15 degrees, generally heel to heel or heel to arch. Again, front hip back, back hip forward, and that front leg rotated from inside out, kneecap pointed straight ahead, and that takes some body intelligence to do that. Position those arms, create length. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reaching towards the wall with the right arm, lowering the right arm to the shin, shoulder over the shoulder. You can see that it makes a little triangle shape here. Eventually, we can go a little bit lower, outside the foot. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. If the neck does not bother you, you can gaze up. Do not slump forward. Good. Continue to cultivate Pada Bandha in the feet. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Inhale, root and rise. Parasarita Stance. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Continuing to rotate those big toes in slightly, pressing outer edges of the feet. Parasarita Ii. This time we're going to clasp the hands behind the back. We feel the shoulder blades come towards one another. We call that scapular retraction. Broadening the collarbones, we inhale, we create length. Exhale, we come forward. Come more to that midfoot. Keep the hips over the knees and the ankles. And if we can, a little more shoulder extension. Think about drawing the hands towards the ground here, continuing to come up on that midfoot, breathing into those hamstrings, breathing into the inner groin. Think about the head coming closer through the legs and the hands closer to the ground. Inhale, root and rise. Back is flat, belly button to the spine. And rise. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to heel toe it together as we explore revolved triangle. Taking the block here, we're going to face forward as we explore revolved triangle with the block. Front foot is positioned 90 degrees. Back foot intersects with the heel or the arch, generally about 45 to 60 degrees. Place both hands on the hips. We want that ability of both hips facing forward. And then sometimes that takes some practice and some body intelligence to get there. We're going to start with the left hand on the hip. We're going to draw that right arm up with the block. Beginners will generally place the block on the inside of the foot. More advanced can place it on the outside of the foot. The key about this pose is a stable back foot and stable hip. Stable back leg. Inhale, create length. Exhale, come forward. For many of us, the block is going to be on the inside. For some of us, it's on the outside. And as we do this, we're cultivating the little twist. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. So good for the mid-thoracic. Eventually, if we're more advanced, we can extend that arm up. If we want to keep the hand on the hip for stability, we can. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. If we can, gaze up, radiating that beautiful energy from the heart. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Left hand on the hip, gaze at that big toe. Inhale, root and rise. Beautiful. Cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Proud of you guys. Drawing that left foot back, front foot pointed straight ahead. Beautiful. Generally, it's about a few inches shorter than a full leg length with this. Hands on those hips. Front hip back, back hip forward. Beautiful. Taking the left hand, holding the block, drawing that right arm on the hip. Thinking stable back foot, stable back leg, stable back hip. Inhale, rooting into the ground, Pada Bandha, active strong legs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward, placing the block. For many of us on the inside, if we've practiced a little bit before, on the outside, shoulder over the other shoulder, leveraging that mid-thoracic, top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Eventually, maybe taking the hand off the hip, continuing to draw those bottom ribs forward. Energy from the heart, out the fingertips. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Mindfully, right hand on the hip, gaze at that right big toe. Inhale, root and rise. Step forward, Tadasana, cleansing breath. Inhale, exhale. Setting the block down. Coming back to the center of the mat, Parasarita Ii stance here. Cultivating Pada Bandha. Active legs, cultivating Mula Bandha. Hands up by the chest, elbows up, add a hop. Rotate those big toes in. Press outer edges of the feet. Mindfully, you're going to draw that left arm behind you, internally rotate it. And if you can, you're going to clasp above that elbow. And if you can, you're going to take that left hand and clasp that right elbow. And if that's a challenge, maybe we're just going to lightly interlace our fingers if we can a bit. Just working on this shoulder release. Shoulders away from those ears, broaden the collarbones. Inhale, create length. Exhale, come forward more to that midfoot. Breathe into this release of the shoulders. Breathe into those hamstrings and the inner groin. Stay here several breaths. Inhale, back flat, root with both feet. Inhale, root and rise. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Drawing that right thumb in, clasping a hold of 2 inches above the elbows there. Beautiful. Take that right hand to that left elbow, or wherever as we can modify. Maybe just lightly interlace the fingers. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful shoulder release. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we come forward more to that midfoot. Breathe into that back side of the body. Shoulder blade rooted against the back ribs. Breathe into both hamstrings, inner groins. take the pubis bone and draw it back and up. Inhale, back flat, root and rise. Heel, toe it in. Cleansing breath together. Inhale. Exhale.